listen to anyone and doesn't take direction and doesn't submit to anyone, might be a bad bet. And if you're dating a guy who is trying to control you or to domineer you, is probably not a good bet there either. And I think you can see. I think you can in a dating relationship. You can see if a young man would make a loving husband that would love you as Christ loves the church and lay his life down for yours, and not just literally. I think that's mostly figurative. Like if it's my way or the highway, or no, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to, I wish I could give you a better picture of it. I live with that every day with someone who's willing to lay down his life for me, not literally, but figuratively. And so, yeah, I think you can see that in a person. I would say that, and I think Jeff would agree with this, that when we met, I was more spiritually mature than he was. And that was problematic for me early in the relationship. But as we began to date, it became clear that he had grown so much spiritually. And I don't think I told you this part in the story. I told the last class of that whole submission and situation with leaving our church. He said two things to me that really showed his ability to lead our family as a spiritual leader. The first one was when we were talking about it, and I was just, I don't know if this is, I think this is probably before Stan, before we went to talk to Stan. But we were talking about it, and nobody was angry. We don't, by the way, we have never raised our voices in 35 and a half years. We've never yelled. We've had fights, we've had disagreements, we've off at each other. But we've never yelled, and we have never called one another never. A bad, nice names, honey, sweetie, but not on that. So it wasn't a fight. But I don't remember what we were talking about, but this is what Jeff said to me. He said, Amy, I have watched men grow old in our church without becoming godly men, and I don't want to be one. And then we had made an agreement that we would leave after Vacation Bible School because I had committed to being the Bible story teacher at Vacation Bible School, and I needed to let my yes be yes. And so he said, okay, so that Sunday after Vacation Bible School is over, we're going to start going to other churches, looking at other churches, and I agreed to that. But then Josh was crushed when he found out that he wouldn't be there because the Sunday after Vacation Bible School, all the little kids would sing in the choir, and he was wanting to sing in the choir, and I was wanting my baby to be able to. So I said, just this last Sunday, please, one more Sunday, and Josh will sing in the choir, then next Sunday. And this is what he said to me. And so this is the other side of that. This is his I'm the leader side. He said, Amy, God has called us out, and you don't play around. I not, I had to hear that part. And I didn't want, that wasn't the answer I wanted, but I submitted to that. And he said it lovingly. He didn't say, no, woman, we're leaving, which, by the way, is what he grew up with. So you can tell if someone is a godly spiritual leader in a dating relationship. So we talked about becoming friends, knowing someone well before you start dating them, waiting to have sex, and then the good marriages mean a lot of work. So I'm going to leave you with two ideas, and then I'm going to read something to you, and then we'll be done with this part of the lesson. Here's the statement: be satisfied in God. Let Him write your love story. I think sometimes, and speaking as a woman, and I think maybe girls do this more than I know, and gentlemen, this may be a revelation. Most girls, maybe not all girls, already know details they want in their wedding. Anybody? Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What? You want 30 people there? Oh, you want there to be a woman. That is an important detail. That's a very important detail. But where was I going with that? I don't know either. But girls tend to think about that a lot, and maybe guys do too. But I think that that finding the right person isn't actually about finding the right person. It's about being the right person, not finding the right person. Because if you are the right person, if you are following, if you're chasing hard after Jesus and you are growing in your faith, you will attract the right person or the right kind of person. Here, Mark Gungor. You'll attract that right person. And so you, I can trust him. So it's not about finding the right person, it's about being the right person. So be satisfied in God. He knows before you do. He's known since before you were born who you would marry. And so let him write your love story. And I think sometimes we try to take the pen, or in our parlance, the keyboard, away from God. Say, no, I'm going to write this story. This is my story. I'm going to write it. And we don't consult with God about things. And we tend to overlook, well, yeah, that's not good. But, overall, she's okay or he's okay. And just because we want to be in a relationship and we want to find that person, let God do that. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a rush. Let God write your love story. And then the last thing I want to talk about in relationships is that accountability is really important in those relationships. And so I would find a person and be accountable to them about your relationship, about your dating relationship. And it cannot be the person you're dating. The person you're dating cannot be your accountability partner. And it needs to be someone of the same sex. And it needs to be someone who's more mature than you. And it needs to be someone who's willing to tell you things you don't want to hear. And who's willing to confront you. And you need to be the kind of person, gentlemen, that is willing to listen to those things. And to realize when that person says what you are doing is wrong and contrary to Scripture, you need to be the kind of person to be mature enough to say, right. And if you're not, then you're not ready to get married. If you're not ready to hear something about the way you're conducting your relationship that you don't want to hear, assuming it's true about your relationship. And so find an accountability partner. If you're in a relationship now, find an accountability partner. Find someone who is more mature than you are, and that, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. At least as mature as. And then ask them to hold you accountable. Ask them to hold you accountable. And let them ask you questions. What were you doing Friday night? And then be honest about it. Be honest about it. And that person can give you moral support. He or she can give you encouragement. And so choose someone. Accountability begins with you. And if you aren't willing to be held accountable, that in itself says something about your spiritual maturity. If you're like, nope, not going to do that. That in itself says something about your spiritual maturity. Guys, I don't understand what's going on here. We're going back to 8th grade. So let them ask you tough questions. Ask them to ask you tough questions and answer them honestly. And be willing to be honest with them. The Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. We need one another to keep us accountable. We all need someone to do that. Now go to the end of your go to the end of that lesson. There's a thing that's called Love Note.
Page 368.
What?
Page 368.
368. Thank you very much. That's 394 in my book. I'm going to read this aloud to you. You just read it as I read it, or you can close your eyes and listen to it. But we're just going to read through this. And Mark Gungor might take some exception with some of this, but I think generally it's pretty good. Everyone longs to give themselves completely to someone, to have a deep soul relationship with another, to be loved thoroughly and exclusively. But God says to a Christian, no, not until you are satisfied, fulfilled, and content with being loved by me alone, with giving yourself totally and unreservedly to me, with having an intense personal and loving relationship with me alone, discovering that only in me is your satisfaction to be found. Then you will be capable of the perfect human relationship, well, as perfect as human relationships can be, that I have planned for you. You will never be completely united with another until you are united with me, exclusive of anyone or anything else, exclusive of any other desires or longings. I want you to have the best. Please allow me to give it to you. I want you to stop planning and stop wishing and allow me to give you the most thrilling plan existing, one that you cannot imagine. I want you to have the best, so just keep watching me, expecting the greatest things, and listen and learn the things I tell you. You just wait. That's all. Don't be anxious. Don't worry. Don't look around at things others have received and that I've given them, or that I've given them. Don't look at things you think you want. Just keep looking to me, or you'll miss what I want to show you. And then, when you're ready, I'll surprise you with a love far more wonderful than any you could dream of. You see, until you are ready, and until the one I have for you is ready, and I am working even at this moment to have both of you ready at the same time, until you are both satisfied exclusively with me and the life that I have prepared for you, you won't be able to experience the love that exemplifies your relationship with me. You won't be able to experience the love, and this is the perfect love. And dear one, I want you to have the most wonderful love. I want you to see in the flesh a picture of your relationship with me and enjoy materially and concretely the everlasting union of beauty, perfection, and love. Know that I love you. I am God. Know it and be satisfied. In the spring of 1985, and forgive me if I've told you this before, maybe I'm just thinking of last year's. I was invited on a trip over Memorial Day weekend to Phoenix, Arizona. I mostly went, it was 2 guys and 2 girls, nobody was dating anybody. I mostly went because one of the guys was cute. And we went to a convent, a Protestant convent, and spent a lot of time alone and working in the kitchen and working in the garden, and had a reflective time. And when it was over, we went into each separately went in to talk to the Mother Superior. I don't know if that's what it's called in the Protestant convent, and we had a time kind of debriefing with her. And so I had my time debriefing with her, and she asked me, questions, and she told me about sisterhood, and we had this lovely, she was German, had this lovely conversation. And then when it was over, she asked me if I had any questions. And I said, yeah. How do you know if you called this? I'm like, you are not called. Mostly I went, good, I'm not called. And I don't know how she knew that. Maybe the way I worked in the kitchen and I wasn't very good at peeling potatoes. I'm much better now. But here's the thing. When I got home from that trip, because I desperately wanted to find someone to marry, and I was thinking, as I told you, that life began when that happened. And I went home, and I remember being in my room in our apartment and looking out my bedroom window and praying and saying, God, I never find something. If I never find something, I will be sad. You are enough. You are all. And I laid it all down. That was late May 1985. My first date with Jeff was August 10th, 1985. So when I say be satisfied in God, when I see those words, I know that is true. And I know that in order to have a godly marriage, that has to. I have to find my identity. I love Jeff. You all know that. You probably figured that out by now. I adore Jeff. He is my identity. And I am God, Jesus Christ is my identity. Until that is true, then you can't have that kind of relationship because it's only found in Christ. I love that Jesus so often and the scriptures so often refer to heaven as a marriage feast and Christ is the bridegroom and we are his bride. It's such a beautiful word picture that we are to be in a sense married to him. And so I guess I would leave you in this part of this last part of the lecture with that. Be satisfied. Don't be looking for someone or something else because that person cannot. That person is a dirty, rotten sinner deserving hell just like you. So be satisfied. One last thing, and this is not serious. Not always serious. It is serious. Remember how I told you it's not his fault? He's a boy. But that's one of my self-talk things. Not like a boy, like men do, and I don't understand it. I have another one when he's irritating me. And this will help you. It helps me. I'm no picnic either. Like I'm harder to live with than he is, and he puts up with me. Surely I could put up with him. So yeah, we all need to be generous and understanding. So that's the lecture. You have about 10 minutes. You can chat.